online. Realistically speaking, you're not going to get better material than what you get online. Study it, eat it up.
Let me ask you this, because you have seen the evil fruits of Islam. Does it hurt you when you, I don't know about hurt you, but like, do you see the problem of the hierarchy saying Muslims and Christians worship the same God? Like it's got to be a major issue for you when you hear things like that.
Most definitely. I'm going to tell you one event that I actually went to. There was a Catholic church. It was in, I'm trying to figure out which part of Illinois. This is before I had to leave the state. They had women meeting with Muslim women, Catholic women, Muslim women. They meet regularly. And they brought in a Muslim to give a sanitized view of Islam. And they had him in, I guess, wasn't in the sanctuary, but I guess where they come and have coffee. He's there with a PowerPoint presentation and spinning Islam. And I'm watching this and knowing, I'm not saying he's lying. See, we have to be careful. Not every Muslim really knows their sources. Yeah. So you gotta be hesitant to say, he's lying. No, he may be convinced this is what Islam teaches. He doesn't know any better. So I'm not saying he's lying, but I knew the things he was presenting were all lies. But had I spoken out, they would have said, see, you're the villain. You're not being Christ-like. You don't show the love of Jesus. You got to love them. And after all, they brought him in. Mm-hmm. But it's not just the Catholics. One of the biggest churches in Illinois is called Willow Creek Community Church. That's the church where Lee Strobel pastored. You know Lee Strobel, Case for Christ?
I know Lee Strobel. Yeah. I used to listen to him.
If you go watch his testimony, his wife gave her life to Christ at that community church.
He wrote a Case for Christ, right?
Yes, Case for Christ. So if you watch the film on his life and his story, he was from Illinois. He was a reporter for the Chicago Tribune. Willow Creek, when it first started, was small. His wife went there. She gave her life to Christ. He was upset. But when he gave his life to Christ, he became a teaching pastor there. Why will I mention Willow Creek? I'm going to tell you a story that I'm privy to. After September 11th, so it's not just Catholics. So I know Catholics do a lot of interfaith dialogue. There are Protestants as well. This man, Bill Hybel, who fell from grace, unfortunately, he had to step down because of some scandal. Whether true or not, I don't know. I hope it's not true. Anyway, after September 11th, if you ever see the church, it's huge. The main auditorium seats 5,000 people. And then they have in the building other areas where you can watch on satellite TV. Wow. After September 11th, he brought a local imam and gave him center stage for all the main services, reaching thousands of people. There was a small apologetic group who had me come in on a Friday to talk to 100 people about what Islam truly teaches about jihad. So the Christian guy got a small room with 100 folks. The Muslim dude got a packed audience where the pastor let him spin it, spew out, no, Islam is peaceful. Islam is being hijacked. These terrorists don't represent Islam. So people walked away being deceived into thinking that authentic Islam does not teach terrorism. So it's not just the Catholic Church, because even before I ventured into the Catholic Church, I was seeing it among Protestants.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a naivety, like, or naivete, whatever that word is. Like, it's just this naive, let's just love one another. Let's just be kind to one another without actually recognizing the devil you're dealing with. And it's dangerous. It's genuinely dangerous. And even some of the ecumenical stuff that we see, it's dialogue for the sake of dialogue, not an actual aim to bring people into the truth and get to the heart of the issues. I saw today there was an Orthodox Catholic Lutheran pilgrimage in Rome, going to an Orthodox church, a Lutheran church, and then a Catholic church. I mean, it's great to see Christian unity, but if you're not going to actually sit down and get to the heart of the issue and bring unity in a genuine, true way, I don't know. It seems dangerous to me, this stuff.
Just to give you another anecdote that I know personally. Robert Spencer, you guys know he used to be Catholic.
I know Robert Spencer, yeah.
Robert Spencer was getting hammered by his bishop because of what he was doing against Islam. He was getting hammered. I know this from firsthand experience because I've met him. The bishop was hammering him and saying, this work you're doing is hindering interfaith work.
Yeah.
And they were bringing down the gauntlet on him that left a bad taste in his mouth.
and he left for Orthodoxy.
Yeah. Now he'll tell you he didn't leave for that reason, obviously, but whatever it is, that's between him and God. But my point is, he said it because I believe it was even on one of the sessions where I asked him about it. We were doing live stream, but even personally, that the bishop was giving him a hard time and trying to rein him in and threatening him pretty much. You got to stop doing this because this is affecting our interfaith work. We're trying to make inroads and try to bring peace. And what you're doing, you're alienating them. And, you know, I mean, what do you say to that when your own bishop has to?
I know what they're doing. They think if we just go and say, okay, look, there could be peace between, like, they think that the Catholics who are saying, no, we're the one true church, and the Muslims who are saying, no, we're the one true faith, they think that's what's causing wars. It's not.
It's Islam that's causing wars.
Islam is causing the war. Yeah.
In fact, a lot of people may not know this, and Nicholas, I should say, you are very well read because I can see by the nature of the questions. So God bless your knowledge. May the Lord fill all of us with the wisdom we need to protect the church and get Muslims saved and expose the terrorists in our midst. Because again, I say this with all sincerity, we cannot demonize all Muslims. Mm-hmm. Many Muslims are victims. You know who are the victims of Islam? They're women. Yeah. They're children. If I were to tell you what Islam allows men to do to women in Islam and children, and they're doing it right now as we speak, your heart will break and you'll be in tears for the situation of Muslim women and children living in Muslim majority lands. They're not your enemies. They're not. I'm not trying to be politically correct. They're not. And this is a danger when you keep focusing on the nasty aspect of Islam, the bad fruits of Islam, then it makes it easy for you to demonize all of them. But then you don't want to go to the extreme opposite and think they're all saints.
Yeah.
We have to have balance by the grace of God. But many people may not know this, but informed Muslims who know their hadith, when Muslims pray 5 times a day, 17 times a day, they have to recite what's called Surah al-Fatiha.
Yeah.
For one. In that prayer, there's a prayer that Muhammad interpreted as being a reference to Jews and Christians. Which part, if you read chapter 1, verse 6 to 7, it says, guide us on the straight path, not on like those who earned your wrath. And Muhammad said, those are the Jews, or those who've gone astray. And he says, those are the Christians.
Yeah.
So when Muslims pray Surah al-Fatiha, the opening chapter, they don't know. Some do who know their sources. They're asking God, do not allow us to become Jews or Christians.
Yeah.
That's in their prayers. You don't get more antichrist than this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You see, so what religion is it that part and parcel of its theology and a definitional aspect of its theology is to condemn Christian beliefs? I mean, you can't be a Muslim if you don't condemn and speak out against Christianity. It's part of the DNA because the Quran has a lot of negative things to say about supposed beliefs of Christians. For example, Christians supposedly believe Allah is the third of 3. Yeah. And that Jesus and Mary are 2 gods besides Allah. So it's part of the very DNA of this religion to criticize Christianity. Yeah. It's in their scriptures. So you cannot be a Muslim without having a negative view and outlook on Christian beliefs, let alone Jewish beliefs. So
another thing I'm seeing